Today I want to talk about the position of variables in the equation and graph. In previous class, I told you about the variable and different types of variable, independent variable, dependent variable and controlled variable and how they are related also. Okay, today the turn of what? Position of these variables if we express them in equation and graph. Okay, position of variable in equation. I want to present some equation. Look at this. W equal to mg, weight equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity, pressure equal to force by area, and displacement equal to velocity into time, potential energy equal to m into g into h, mass into acceleration due to gravity into height, kinetic energy equal to half mv square. These are the equations and these are the variables also, the physical quantities which we use in the scientific research and experiment. All are variables. That's why these are variables also. And in this equation, which variable is kept in which side, left hand side or right hand side, I'm going to tell you about this. Look at the first one. Weight is equal to m into g. This is an experiment in which we can increase the mass of the body. I mean to say different masses can be taken, and when mass of the body is increased, what will be its effect on the weight can be measured by weighing that different mass with the help of spring balance. And that's why we are manipulating the value of mass and we are seeing its effect on weight. That's why weight is dependent variable, mass is independent variable, and for a particular place the value of g remains same, and so this is controlled variable. It means in this equation this weight is dependent variable. Okay, let's go to next. Pressure equal to force by area. In this experiment, we'll apply different amounts of force on the same area, and what will be its effect on the pressure can be measured. It means the value of force is changed. This is independent variable and its effect on the pressure is observed. This is dependent variable. That's why dependent variable came in left hand side. In this case, we have to think about the area also. If area is taken as constant, then it is controlled variable. But if we want to find out the relation between pressure and area, then we can increase the area, and the force applied on different area is if measured, then variation in pressure can be observed. It means pressure is dependent variable in this case also. At this time only force is controlled variable. Okay, S equal to V into T. If velocity of a body is increased or decreased, then the displacement will be more or less. It means this is independent variable velocity and its effect on the displacement can be observed. It means displacement is dependent variable, but time can be taken as controlled variable. Here also dependent variable is in the left hand side. Okay, potential energy equal to m into g into h. Potential energy contained in a body depends upon mass or not. And in this experiment, we can increase the mass of the body. I mean to say different bodies can be taken having different mass, and if they are kept at same height, and what is its effect on potential energy is if observed, then the mass is independent variable but potential energy is dependent variable. In this case, we can take height also as independent variable. Mass can be taken as constant, controlled variable, and height of a body is increased. Then what will be its effect on the potential energy can be observed. This way, here potential energy is dependent variable. In the same way, here also kinetic energy is dependent variable. If a body has greater velocity, then what will be its effect on the kinetic energy can be observed. At this time, mass of the body should be taken constant. That's why mass is called controlled variable and velocity is independent variable and kinetic energy is dependent variable. Okay, this way what is seen in this case, all the dependent variable are taken in left hand side. When we write equation, then always the dependent variable comes in left hand side and independent variable and control variable comes in right hand side. Okay, we have to remember this. Next, graphical representation of variable. How do we represent graphically variables x-axis and y-axis? Independent variable is always taken in x-axis and dependent variable is always taken in y-axis in the graphical representation. A graph can be obtained like this or it can be obtained like this also. It may be anything that depends upon the research or experiment. Okay, we know the Ohm's law. In case of Ohm's law, the graphical representation in x-axis and y-axis, we have done this. Potential difference is taken in x-axis because this is independent variable and current is taken in y-axis and the effect of increase or decrease of potential difference is seen in this graphical representation and graph was like this. After all this, I think it will be better to have a question. In the study of the pressure exerted by a cuboid on a surface, which of the following options represents controlled, dependent and independent variable respectively? We have given some options. Number 1, pressure, weight and area. 2, weight, pressure and area. Area, weight and pressure. And number 4, area, pressure and weight. Now what is the question? We have to go through question in detail. We have to analyze the question. In the study of the pressure exerted by a cuboid, let's say this is a cuboid. On a surface, a cuboid is taken and we are studying what amount of pressure it exerts on the surface. Which of the following options represents controlled, dependent and independent variable? If cuboid is given and its length is this, breadth is this, height is this, and if it is taken on a surface, then at this time it is lying length and breadth wise. It means the area through which the cuboid exerts pressure on the surface is length into breadth. Out of 6 sides, this side has large surface area. Okay, now what is the pressure exerted by this body on this surface can be easily calculated with the help of the weight of the body and with the measurement of area, because weight is force, P equal to F by A gives area. If the same is taken this way, I mean to say this is length, this is breadth and this is height, and it is lying length and height wise, this area is less than the previous but weight of the body remains same. The same weight force exerts through less surface area and we can calculate this. And in third case, we can put the cuboid like this, and this is length, this is breadth and this is height. At this time, the area through which the cuboid exerts pressure is very less. So certainly what we get, when area is decreased, pressure is found to be increased. Now in this experiment, actually we don't have to go through value now. Which variable is manipulated? Certainly area. Area is manipulated. And on which variable its effect is seen? Its effect is seen on the pressure. And it means the manipulated variable area is independent variable and the effect on the pressure is seen, that's why pressure is dependent variable, and throughout the experiment weight of the body remains same. This is controlled variable. And what is the question? We have to make an order of control, dependent and independent variable. Control variable is the weight remains same. Dependent variable means on which we are seeing effect, that is pressure. This is weight, this is pressure, and what is independent variable? Area. It should be weight, pressure and area respectively to be controlled, dependent and independent variable respectively. So we have to see weight, pressure and area. This is present in second option. That's why we have to select this second option. Let's go through another question. A statement is given. Dependent and independent variables are placed in x-axis and y-axis respectively in the research or experiment. Whether this statement is correct or not, think about this. Here an argument is told, In the research or in the experiment, the effect on the dependent variable is analyzed. Whether this is correct or not, just think about this. And argument 2 is there. Dependent variable is the effect, but independent variable is its cause. Is this correct? Okay, after the analysis of the statement and arguments, we have to select one of the options. Statement and argument 1 are correct. Number 2, only argument 1 is correct. And number 3, statement and both the arguments are correct. Number 4, arguments 1 and 2 are correct. Which option is correct? Now we have to check one by one. First option, statement and argument 1 are correct. Statement is correct or not? Let's see. Dependent and independent variables are placed in x-axis and y-axis respectively in the research or experiment. Is this correct? What do you think? No. Dependent variable is always taken in y-axis and independent is taken in x-axis. Just reverse is told here. That's why this is not correct. So this option is not correct. Now let's go through second option. Only argument 1 is correct. Is it? Look at this argument 1. In the research or in the experiment, the effect on the dependent variable is analyzed. Yes. Actually, the effect on the dependent variable is analyzed. This is correct. But in option 2, what is told? Only argument is correct. Only. What it mean? If argument 2 is also correct, then this option number 2 won't be correct. That's why we have to check 3 and 4 also. Now, statement and both the arguments are correct. This option is not correct because statement is not correct. It is previously decided. That's why the third option is not correct. Now, fourth option, arguments 1 and 2 are correct. Is it? 1 is already decided. It is correct. But argument 2 is correct or not? Dependent variable is the effect, but independent variable is its cause. What do you think? Yes, independent variable is the cause, dependent variable is its effect. This is correct. So argument 1 and 2 both are correct is told in fourth option, and this is correct. Only argument 1 is correct is not correct. So we'll tick the argument 1 and 2 are correct. Number 4. So I finished all this. I mean to say that the variable, dependent variable, independent variable and controlled variable, the relationship between the variable is graphical representation, and the position of dependent, independent and controlled variable in the equation, all these we finished. And some of the important questions, I mean to say the question which requires a lot of analysis is also completed. So we'll meet in another part in another class. Okay, this much for today.